All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Sold As Is. Today I've got the great opportunity to sit down with my good friend, mentor, and new head of commercial division here at the Rise Group, Mr. Henry Garcia. Welcome, Henry.
Appreciate you having me on. Excited to be here at Rise. Just a great opportunity.
Right? Hey, you were a little reluctant, right? Tell everybody a little bit.
Well, yeah,
Why is Tom calling me?
All of
Why
a
is
sudden, Tom just wants to be able to have lunch. I mean, I kind of felt like, he was a little too aggressive, on wanting to have lunch.
I've been known to do that a few times, right, Henry?
But I just got back from Texas, as you know, spent 4 years in Texas, after the pandemic or when the pandemic hit. Really my initial thought was to go there and to expand my business.
Yeah.
And as people were struggling through the pandemic and all the tenant protections that were there, I thought, let's go to Texas, let's go learn that market and see if I could help owners get out of LA and get into Texas. But I really had to be boots on the ground there.
Yeah.
So yeah, did that, and that is maybe we talk about that a little later.
Yep.
But came back.
Went to another brokerage.
Went to another brokerage. We won't mention, but
Yep.
great group there.
Yep.
Realized what I had wanted. Was the vibe in the office. It was so important for me to be able to come back and be with other hustlers, other people that wanted that synergy in the office.
Yeah.
And so when you offered lunch and kind of showed me the office, it was it made me consider a change. Truth be told, is I've been doing this in a while, and as I get older, I'm I tend to be a little resistant to change.
Yeah.
And so really wasn't until my wife said, hey, you know what, go check it out, like just give it a try, see what's there.
Thank you, Ingrid.
So I said yes to the lunch.
Yeah.
And then came and checked out the office.
Yeah.
And saw got to meet Sonny and got to see some of the other agents and really saw their drive and their vibe.
That's exactly with me too. Is we could see a breath of fresh air, young, innovative, hardworking people bringing a new vibe to real estate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so that was my kind of initial process of how we got here.
Yeah, and I think what's exciting that I want everybody to know too is you have the opportunity to create a commercial division based on like maybe all the things that didn't go well with other brokerages and kind of mesh what went well with maybe the different brokerages you were at and kind of now put that all together here and offer that. Yeah?
Yeah, I think, I've been doing this since '99. And so it all kind of, if we really kind of go back, it really kind of just happened by chance.
Yeah.
At that time, I wanted to make more money. I was in banking. Responded to an ad in the paper back in the day when they actually did job listings in the paper, and ended up with a company called Sperry Van Ness. Went there, worked with a couple up and coming brokers there. From there, started doing a lot of transactions with a good client of mine who ended up being a good friend. And we were doing so many, he said, hey, let's go open our own brokerage. He was an attorney. We went ahead and opened that, went to downtown to the gas company tower. This is like 2001. Did that for a long time. Then we kind of that brokerage morphed and grew into a company called Bridgepoint Equity Partners. We did some loans, had all that stuff. Then 2000 kind of swung around. 2007, sorry, swung around.
Yeah.
And I started to see just this change in the wind, if you will, in the market, and thought, I don't know if I want to have all this liability. I really think that this is going to change. So I walked away from that partnership, and then joined a different company. Just kind of wanted to be solo again. So after learning from each and one of those experiences, I think coming here, it's different because I can look at Chris and Sonny and what they're building, and really lean into their hustle, their grind, and thought, man, if I can come in with that type of support and a younger version of myself,
Yeah.
and really make the commercial division grow, I think that's going to be special.
Yeah. So if we were talking to an agent, a commercial agent out there, what would be maybe one or two things that would make us unique to want to come and maybe check out the office?
So there are some things that we're working on right now that will definitely make us unique. Now, I don't want to give out the secret sauce, but there's a lot of stuff that I think your traditional brokerage doesn't offer.
Okay.
Being that, I've been doing this for so long, and even with the brokerage that I got to spend out in Dallas and see how they do business,
Yeah.
it really added value to me coming back and realizing how we could build on that, incorporate those things. I think when you get into LA brokerage in commercial, it's all grit and grind. It's just picking up the phone, and I think that's the beauty of working the LA market.
Yeah.
Is that as long as you out hustle the next guy and you can connect with buyers and sellers, I think that's really the foundation that you need to make it in this business. Right. But I think some of the stuff that we're doing here, that's going to be special, and so I think that's when
to book an appointment.
They're going to have to come on in and give us let us sit down, spend 5-10 minutes.
I think just if I had to share, I think commercial is still an old school business compared to residential, in that you guys do a lot of things the old fashioned way. And I think the modern buyer is looking at technology, looking at social media, and I think it's time, and you and I have been kind of chatting about bringing some of those things new to commercial, getting out there and doing an Instagram reel on a 4-unit building or a 5-unit building, and seeing the type of activity that could be drawn from that. I think is kind of where the new, I don't know what Gen Z buyer is that's out there, but I think that's where they're going to look for data.
Yeah, I think I was on a call yesterday with the company, and some of the stuff that they were sharing was pretty intense for commercial and AI.
Yeah.
Made me just realize how old I am stepping in. But I think learning some of that stuff, sitting with those companies, I think that's just next level.
Yeah.
In being able to make it happen. So I think that. Yeah, commercial is a lot different than residential.
Yeah.
There are select players, in LA. I think that's what makes LA unique in the sense that when you compare it to Dallas, you can get kind of just I'll say a guy that was working at Texas Instrument,
Yeah.
and wanted to buy a 200-unit building, and how they structure their deals is just very, very different. They will go raise money $25,000 to $50,000 at a time. The sponsor will come in with just a few $1,000s, if any, and really they put the back end is where they make their money when they sell or refi.
Yeah.
LA is very different. Obviously we don't have a lot of 100, 200 unit buildings in LA. That's really the institutional world. But for the young guys that are out there hustling, when you go buy a deal, you got to be able to show proof of funds.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to show a schedule of real estate. So in comparison to how other states and towns outside of LA conduct business,
Yeah.
LA is just very unique on how they transact.
Yeah. I know we had a chance to sit down a couple weeks ago, and you were telling me how you underwrite a deal, and it really is pretty sophisticated what goes into that. And don't share the secret sauce, but if you're out there looking for commercial brokerage and you're considering our new agent getting into it, I really admire what you're able to offer them as a skill that they're going to learn from the tenureship that you have in the business. So I definitely want them to make sure, if you're out there and you have any considerations about looking at a different brokerage for commercial, we're new, we're innovative, we're going to be putting ourselves on the map. And Henry is really kind of taking a lot of that wisdom and bringing it back here, back to LA, what you learned abroad, so to speak,
Right,
and what
right.
you brought back in here as well. I know we're kind of running out of time, Henry, but if there were a couple of key things as a new agent, what would you want somebody to like to know about commercial real estate?
Um, Number one, I think it's a unique opportunity. I think when you look at a lot of the younger generation that are finishing up college and really trying to get a direction for what they want, really this LA commercial real estate is unique. I think that it's being able to get the guidance, the mentorship to help you to be successful. I didn't know a thing when I first started. To be honest, when I responded to this ad on the paper, I thought it was residential real estate. So I had no clue. I was in banking. I get there, I see all these commercial buildings on the wall, and I go to the interview, and I'm like, wait a minute. And they're like, yeah, we sell commercial buildings and big apartment buildings. And I thought, that it just didn't click at that time because I wasn't really exposed to that world. Once sitting in that, I was like, man, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
So when you step into that world, look, I was born and raised in Whittier. Very basic lifestyle, single mom on welfare. So this was a completely different world. And I think stepping into that world, I got to meet so many different people.
Absolutely.
Got to step into a whole new world that I thought, man, there's so much opportunity. And if all I've got to do is put my head down, pick up the phone, and transact, man, let me do this. Yeah. And so stepping into that office for the first time and realizing that there are a bunch of former business owners, a lot of people who were already older and had their house paid off. And here I was, 24 years old, just starting off my life. Yeah. And so I think, the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
It's just you've got to want it bad enough to be able to show up every day, make the calls, and obviously go attack.
I love that. A quick market forecast for 2025. I know when you and I chatted a while back, you kind of mentioned that the prices for commercial, because of the interest rates, kind of fell back pre-2020 numbers, or the buyers that are out there. Any idea, like a market forecast of what you see for 2025 for commercial residents?
I think in commercial, in contrast to residential. So when someone buys an apartment building, they typically are getting 5-year money. There isn't really 30-year money in commercial real estate, right? So everybody that had bought a building in 2020, 2021, and 2022, those loans are coming due. So if they bought in 2020, more than likely their loans coming due next year, 2025. People that bought in 2021 are now coming due in 2026, and so on. The big issue that we're facing in commercial real estate is that when these people bought in 2020, 21, 22 during COVID, money was cheap. Everybody was a buyer, so they're buying these things on 3 caps, 3.5 caps. Money was 3%.
Yeah.
So now in LA, you weren't allowed to raise rents through COVID. So it wasn't until earlier this year, February 2024, that you can give a 4% increase. So what's happened is all these loans are now coming due. And when you approach a lender to refi and they look at your numbers, and now they have to underwrite it at, say, 5.9 or 6.25 rate when you're coming off a 3.5, 4%, that's dramatic. Yeah. And more than likely, you haven't been able to turn enough units to be able to get your NOI high enough to justify just a rate and term loan. Yeah. So more than likely, you have to come in with cash in. And not everybody's excited about throwing good money after bad, just to hold on to a property.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a few deals in the residential side that have been swinging over your way from residential agents with clients going, hey, I've got to get this building out of the books.
Right.
Because they know that this rate bump is coming, this refi is coming, and they don't have the books to show it. And if they want to keep this property, they're going to have to bring in some cash to get the loan amount at a number that will pencil out for the lender to want to refinance.
Right.
So maybe foreclosures might be coming down the pipe?
I just had a conversation with a guy yesterday. He is a property manager, and there's a new construction deal, I'm not going to say where, built 2024. They've got a $15 million loan on it, and the guy was telling me how the guy's going to lose it. He's going to get foreclosed on. Brand new construction, beautiful building. Now there's an opportunity for a buyer to go in there, buy the note, and foreclose on the owner, and the lender will actually finance the note, which is like, you're going to finance the note? Like, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
So it's coming down the pike.
Yeah.
So I think that whether, as an agent, it's super important for you to have the knowledge of how to guide a client through that.
Absolutely.
Right? No one likes to lose money. No one likes to fail. Right? And it can be a really challenging time. And so you need that mentorship and guidance to how to guide a person through that. Right? And then, of course, as a buyer and seller, you need an agent that you can trust, that knows what they're doing. I mean, look, if I'm about to lose $1 million, I mean, I want to at least feel that I've hired the best guy that's going to lose me $1 million.
Yeah.
And at least
make me feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just where we're at, and so I think that's why it's important wherever you're at in the brokerage world. If you're looking to make the change from residential to commercial, if you're looking to switch from brokerages and get that mentorship, that's really the best that we can offer.
I love it. Well, Henry, thank you for your time. I really appreciate that. I'm really excited to be back in business with you, my friend. We've known each other about 13 years.
Yeah.
So
time flies.
Yeah, time really flies by fast. But thank you again, Henry. We'll guys catch you on the next one. If you guys are interested about learning more about commercial real estate, make sure you reach out to the Rise Group. Henry Garcia is here to mentor you and help you on your way in your journey in real estate. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Hey, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below so you can be notified of future videos. We'll talk in a bit. Bye.